It's always a party at Patchworks. Let's get this party started. Woot, woot. Hi, everyone. This is Julie from Patchworks, and I am so excited that you're joining us for another Must Sew TV tonight here at Patchworks. So, if you are watching along and want to share the fun, make sure to like, comment, and share this post so that everyone can have lots of fun with this. Also, if you are watching on our YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe so that you never ever miss a Patchworks broadcast whenever we go live. So we have a lot of really fun things that we want to talk to you about tonight. We have a new bundle of the week that we're going to be showing you, and we also have some great inspiration. I don't know if you have been seeing on social media, but Moda has this great program where they're doing Make a Heart a Day inspiration, and they're having a blog hop go around with all sorts of different inspiration around all sorts of social media. And I thought we'd do our own little twist of that tonight and show you lots of fun things that you can do with hearts, some of the patterns you might already have, and other things you might need to pick up. So I have Frank behind the camera console, and as well as extra hands, and who knows, he might even make a secret appearance. And then I am in front of the computer monitoring comments. If I would happen to miss anything, I'll make sure to follow up afterwards to comment away. If there's anything that you like along the way, make sure to comment, and we will do our best to make sure you get what you need. All right, so let's get started. So Frank, let's look overhead at the bundle of the week. So I am staying in the theme of pinks and Valentine-y things because, well, it's just so fun. And, you know, I always give you a special price on our fat stacks. So our fat stacks have 12 fat quarters in them, which is 3 yards of fabric. This happens to feature some of the Sincerely Yours fabrics from Sherry and Chelsea. And then I added in a really fun one from Ruby Star, this cool one from Country Rose by Lila Boutique, a fun basic, this really amazing pink that came from a P&B line. So I just mashed it up and showed all sorts of fun stuff. So we introduced on Friday night this really cool way of sharing products with you. And I just wanted to share with you that, well, tonight this bundle is $24.99. We do have a limited number of them. As I'm sharing this with you, you should also be seeing the link in the comments, so that you'd be able to click on that if there was something that you wanted to buy. So, super fun. Normally we knock just a couple dollars off, but I thought that it would be super fun to give you a really great price on this product tonight. So, that is that great item. So we will talk a little bit about some of the things you can do with it, but I just want to show that right away. So you can see that I am surrounded by a bunch of really amazing heart things. And so the quilt that I have behind me tonight is one of my very favorite quilts. It's probably not fair of me to show you for those of you who are new viewers. It is from the book 12 Pack Quilts, which is no longer in print, but it does use 12 fat quarters, a background, and then you use a scrappy border around the outside. I have another quilt that I'm going to be sharing that's on the back side, and for everyone who buys a fat stack from us in between now and Saturday, whether in store or online, you will be receiving this pattern for, it's called Hearts. It's a 12-pack pattern. And Frank, do we have that extra camera that we can go take a walk and look at where this quilt is? So we have this particular quilt on the back side of the other heart quilt. So this has 12 fat quarters and 3 1/4 yards of background. It finishes at 66 square, and of course you could make it bigger. All right, so let us go and walk around, and we're going to take a peek at this quilt. So there are some creases in it as I did take it out of storage, but this is with 12 fat quarters. So there is, to make this particular unit, you have a 9 patch, and then you have a rectangle with connector corners. So this is kind of like a 4 patch with how it's put together. And then you have 4 of them that you put together in a clover. And then you have leftover 9 patches to make a really cool checkerboard border. If you had wanted to, you could even set this particular quilt where all of your hearts would be set in one direction, so you wouldn't have to have them be set in this clover-like setting. Super, super fun. So everyone who orders a fat stack from us, either through the program or in store between now and Saturday, will receive this really cool pattern. How is that? Does that sound like a lot of fun? Frank, are you switching to the front now? Perfect. All right, I'm going to just hop back to the comments here to see that. So super exciting. All right. Let's hop over to share with you one of the really, really fun ones. And this is a pattern that you can actually download right now and work from home. So this is, let me share with you on my screen, this particular quilt. It's a Moda Love and Hearts quilt. So a couple weeks ago for Charm Pack Week, we gave you the free Moda Love pattern, and they went ahead and they expanded it to not only have that as that really cool block as a center, but they included hearts. So we'll show you how to make that heart and then give you a link to that pattern. So I'm going to share this page with you. So this is what the pattern looks like, and the link for that pattern is right in the comments. So Kathy is asking, what size is that quilt? So that quilt, this one here that I showed you on the back side, is 66 square. If we're talking about the one that's on screen, which is Moda Love and Hearts, that one is 52 by 64. And the one that's 52 by 64 that is up on the screen right now that I shared with you, and I shared the link, that requires 2 charm packs, or you could use a fat stack and have a little bit left over. And then you're going to need some background. So you will need 3 1/4 yards of background, and then binding and backing. So if you've already made the Moda Love Charm Quilt pattern that we handed out a couple weeks ago, you're just going to work on making some really fun hearts. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So you can make the hearts with your scraps or with an actual charm pack. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my step outs that I have on the back to be able to show you overhead how to make that super easy heart. All right, so Frank, let's look overhead. And I printed out in grayscale this pattern, and this pattern has the cover in it, and it has your very good detailed instructions with illustrations. And there is even a coloring sheet if you had wanted to play with how everything would lay out. So these hearts are the new element that we're going to talk about, and it is so fun, super easy to put together. And you are using scraps, your charm packs, leftover jelly rolls, whichever. So you start out with these 2.5 by 5-inch rectangles, and you are going to be making a left side and a right side. Okay, so you want to remember that you're making left and right. We chose to use these two fabrics. If you had wanted to, you could use one fabric and then it would just be the same color here. Having the two colors really helps illustrate how it is pieced together and that you have your left and your right. With your background, you are going to cut squares, and these squares are 2.5-inch square, and I believe that is a 1.5. Oh, and I lied. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to lie. This is 2.5 by 4.5, not 2.5 by 5. 2.5 by 4.5, and this is a 2.5-inch square. And then the small square is a 1.5-inch square. Okay. Now, if you had wanted to, these could even be scrappy backgrounds. I think that could be super, super fun if you use scrappy backgrounds for this. And if you were using scrappy backgrounds, you know, and you had a fat stack of backgrounds, I bet that would get you pretty far. Okay, so I'm going to position this on. So we went ahead and we drew lines from point to point using our quick quarter ruler. I should have my quick quarter ruler ahead in front of me, but I don't. So we have our right sides together, and I'm going to position. I'm going to do my big square first. Oh, thank you, Frank. So Frank wanted to grab for me our quick quarter ruler. So that's the ruler that I use, that I position from point to point. And in this particular use, I'm going to draw down the center. Okay, we'd sew and we'd sew. And then with our small squares, we would be sewing on both sides. You want to start with one side, sew, sew, and then we are going to be doing some trimming. Okay, so in this case here, sew, sew, trim, trim, flip back, and then put on our other side, our other half, right? And we do the same on this one. As you are working, you do want to trim back the other side, this excess. If you wanted to be super efficient, you absolutely could sew another seam 1/2 inch away so you had some tiny cutoffs, but that's pretty ambitious. Okay. And so you'd want to cut this off so you don't have all of this extra bulk here. But we just wanted to show you what that would look like. And then you can sew them on the other side. And then you sew your two halves together. For my pressing, I pressed my seams out, but I did press my center seam open so that I had the least amount of bulk. Now Linda has chimed in saying, can we also use the diagonal seam, the diamond seam tape here rather than drawing? And absolutely you can do that. So Linda just picked up some, the Cluck Cluck Sew diagonal seam tape that Frank is going to quick run and get for us. That is over by the book wall, hanging on the wall, so that you can see what that looks like, and then I'll show it to you. And then you can do that by either putting that diagonal seam tape on the back side of your fabric and then removing the tape, or you can very carefully position it on the base of your sewing machine so that you have lines that you can sew along with. So many different types of things. You know, even though we've been sewing here at the store for a long time, we like to, thanks so much, Frank, we like to draw our lines rather than just go for it. So this is the diagonal seam tape here by Cluck Cluck Sew, and we'll look at it overhead. It is like a washi tape, and it has the center line as well as the 1/4 inch seam line on either side. So it is very nice. So thank you, Linda, for that recommendation. So add this quick 1/4 ruler, diagonal seam tape, or you simply could use a straight edge to draw from point to point. And this is great for using leftovers of your jelly rolls. You can make 28 beautiful hearts from a charm pack and some background, or you can simply use scraps. So if we look back at this pattern, it has 28 hearts that go all the way around, and that would mean that you could go ahead and make one for every single day in February. I know we're already on February 2nd, but these go together so super quick that you could absolutely catch up in no time, even if you first start on Saturday. So lots and lots and lots of fun. Okay, so that is project number 1. Doesn't that sound like a lot of fun? So that is the new project that I have to share with you. Some of the other projects that I have to share with you are going to be a little bit of a review for some of you who've been with us for a long time. But, you know, sometimes it's good to see things that you haven't seen in a while. Before we hop into the next heart-themed project, I just wanted to share with you how this week's block of or bundle of the week goes with a previous bundle of the week that we had. Ooh, how exciting. So this one here, which is the one that I just showed you, I'm going to grab the very first bundle of the week that I put together, and we still have a couple, I mean like literally 2 of them left over. So if you didn't scoop up the first time, they are back to full price of $39, but it is so worth it. And then I'm going to show you how these both go together. And so you might just need all of them to make all of the yummy things. So I love fabrics, or I love fabric. I love quilts that have lots and lots of fabrics in them. So my perfect quilt has like at least 50 fabrics in them. So I thought, you know, since we like to have nice size, bite-sized chunks as we put our bundles together, that, you know, we're still going to have our packs of 12, but I'm going to see how we can have some of our bundles even work together if you wanted to just build scrappy, beautiful, curated collections to go together to make all sorts of really great stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to quick lay this out to show you how these go really well together. Frank, let's quick look overhead. All right. So we have, oh, and thank you so much, Linda. So Linda's letting everybody know that that diagonal seam tape, it is available on our website, and it is only $7.50. So thank you so very much, Linda, for sharing that with us. Okay, look at those strawberries. Aren't the strawberries just yummy? I have some strawberries at home. And if you live in Milwaukee and you like honey pie pies, this weekend they're coming back with their chocolate covered strawberry cream pie. Oh my gosh. I might just have to convince Frank that we need to like go by and get some pie. I love it. Okay, so you can see how these work together. Super fun, right? And oh, look at that. That's just so cool. So the first bundle, Kathy wants to know how she can get that one. So that one I'm calling Hearts on Fire. Ooh, and I have the link shared down below. So, and this one here has this really cool art gallery print in it, and I love this one. And there's words on it that say happily ever after. And then there's a flannel that goes along with it too. So the flannel, oh, this would be a perfect back. Look at this. Look at that perfect, perfect back. So it's flannel and it's a peachy light pink look. It is, the price that I'm showing you is $3.25 a quarter yard. Okay, so it is $13 a yard for this yummy, yummy flannel that's super, super soft. This is an Art Gallery Fabrics, so it says True Love, Happily Ever After, Once Upon a Time, and it would go spectacularly well with both bundles. So you're just going to need the current bundle of the week and Hearts on Fire. Oh, I think you need it all. What do you think, Frank? Do they need it all? They need it all, he says. Okay, so, oh my goodness, Holly is watching us from Punta Cana right now. We are just all over the universe right now. So thank you so much for tuning in while you are out and about. I hope you're having fun and enjoying some warm weather for us. It's a little chilly. And as I went to UPS tonight, there were some frigid snow drifts just going over the road with some like powdery snow going. Ugh, a little chilly, but we need it and it's part of where we live, and so that's all right. So who's ready for the next heart project? All right, let's look at another heart project. So this heart project is a revisit from a something that we shared in Tula Club a couple of years ago, and it's really fun. It's called the Floating Heart Block, and it is available as the Floating Heart pattern, quilt pattern, available from the Free Spirit website. I am going to share that with you. Let me quick pop up and get that. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so you can see, oh, and Linda's in Ohio. Oh, this is great. So you should let us know everywhere where everybody is. And sometimes, not live, but sometimes we even have viewers from Germany and Italy. So it's just really exciting to have everybody who's tuned in. So here I am sharing with you the Floating Hearts quilt. And we didn't make the whole quilt. We went ahead and we had made it as a pillow. But I wanted to share with you the full-size quilt. And sometimes, you know, if you just wanted to make a smaller project from a pattern, you can go ahead and just choose one block and turn it into a pillow, right? Why not? So here we took the one block from that, and these are 2.5-inch strips. I don't happen to have a step out for you at this point, but we're going to look overhead and I'm going to show you the basic construct of the block, and then I'm going to show you how we turned one block into a pillow. Okay, so Frank, let's look overhead. Okay, so we have strips, right, that we put together. So you can see here that we had a square that we put together, and then we put on these connector corners, okay? And up here, we took rectangles and put connector corners on there. And when I'm saying connector corners, that was the same thing that we did with the other heart. That's where we take a rectangle and put a square on it, and we draw our line, and we sew our line, we trim, and we flip, okay? So you can see we did that there. And these are just 2.5-inch strips. I don't have the exact measurements in front of me. So you have 2 units here. Put them together. And in order to get them to be the size that we wanted it, we put a 2.5-inch strip border all the way across it. And whatever block that you have, you can easily turn into a pillow by putting a zippered back on the back of it. So this one happens to have the June Taylor's Zippity Doo Done on it, but I have another version of a step out of just how to put in a regular zipper. So this is with other fabric. Sorry, I'm just going to flip it over here. Okay, so I like to always back it with, you could use fusible fleece, some regular back batting, some soft and stable, whatever you prefer. So you just take one solid piece of fabric and you prepare one square that's bigger than what that square on top is, okay? After you've prepared it, you are going to splice it. So this is not for a fold over tuck pillow. This is for a one with a zipper in it, okay? I like to do it at about the 1/3 mark. I don't like to do it exactly half just because I'm kind of crazy that I like the irregular proportion. So I choose it at the 1/3 mark. Then you have two spliced just like this. Now, in this particular case, we didn't do any quilting. You absolutely can do some quilting though, so that you take advantage of doing, playing with your machine, trying a new technique. This is a great thing for this. If you don't have a solid piece of fabric, of course, you could piece fabric together to do the same thing with. Okay, so now you have this piece. So what you're going to do is you are going to take your zipper, and in this case, I have a 22-inch, this is the Atkinson Design zipper, okay? And we'll look at all the different kind of zippers that we have, but this is a 22-inch. And we are going to put the right sides together, okay? Just along this edge. And zippers aren't hard. This is just sewing a seam, okay? So you're just going to sew a 1/4 inch all the way along. Make sure that you leave the tape hanging out on both sides. And to make it easier on you, you can even just make that pull tab beyond where you would sew. Okay, so you don't have to worry about messing around with that. Sound good? Now that you have done that, you are going to magically, it changed colors. You flipped it so that it was right side out, and then you're going to do a little edge stitch all around here. And I did a white thread here so that you could see that there was actual stitching that holds it in place. Okay, I think we got a little fuzzy there, so I'll move it back. That holds it in place, and then it also holds it in place on the back side. Okay, you probably would use a coordinating thread rather than a contrasting thread, but we did contrasting so that you could see it. Now you're ready to do the other side. So what are you going to do? You're going to take that short piece and do the same thing. You are going to put this right side together. So along the edge, flip it, and dun, 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 it's going to look like this. Once again, you're probably going to use a blending thread rather than a contrasting thread, but this way you could see it. All right? Before you go ahead and trim it to match your top, make sure to pull your zipper pull in between where you're going to trim it. Ask me how I know. All right, so, and then to finish it off, simply all I do is I layer the quilt block. Let's pretend this is the quilt block, right? The quilt block on top, trim it to size, and then you bind it, okay? That's all you do. So you bind it. So there's no flipping and turning. You're just binding the two pieces together with the wrong sides together. I like to have a a fusible fleece, a batting, or totally stable on both pieces to just give it a little bit extra oomph. Or you could simply use some interfacing to give it some extra oomph. There is no need to have a lining on there. Of course, if you would like to be super fancy, I would love to sell you more fabric to be a lining, but there is no need to do that. Okay, great. So there you go. Now, what kind of zippers do we have in the store that you could use? Well, we do have the 22-inch zippers in a whole rainbow of colors. And these are the ones that we've carried for years. And this one, Frank, what is it? $2.20 a zipper? Something like that? Something like that. $2 and something. We also have a handful of colors of the Zippity Doo Dun. And the Zippity Doo Dun is the June Taylor zipper. It is 18 inches in length, and it has this binding on either side. So all you do is you tuck your fabric in, and then you do an edge stitch or a zigzag. And that is how this was finished here, okay? Really nice, and it does work with this size. Super easy to use. So that is $7.99. The next option you have is we now have the Biani zippers, and we have the 30-inch length, which has 2 zipper pulls. So if you use 18 inches for the back of a pillow, you'd have a 12-inch zipper that you could use for another project, and you'd have that zipper pull ready to go for the other half. Or if you wanted to make a whole bunch of things, we have the Zippers by the Yard, which is the 4-yard zipper tape with 16 zipper pulls. So the 30-inch zipper is $6.95, and the 4-yard is $24.95. So great values for that. And Cindy wants to know, oh, and Cindy's, yeah, she's from in Port Lucie in Florida. Oh my goodness. So she wants to know the size of the pillow form to use for, let's say, a 16-inch block. Well, pretty simple. I would actually use a 16-inch for a 16-inch block, okay? You could get, you might be able to plump in an 18-inch. So we carry 14, 16, 18, and 20s, as well as have the small travel pillow. And this one here, let's see what this one is. Oh, I took the wrapper off. Oh no. This one, I think this is a 16-inch. So this was a 16-inch block, and then we just went ahead and put a 16-inch pillow in, if that makes sense. I know there had been a decorator trick of using a slightly larger pillow than what you're making. I haven't found that to be incredibly successful, and I don't know quite what that trick is. And maybe it is different of how you're doing this finishing, but basically I just pull the pillow that matches the size of the block that I'm making. All right. So that is that particular one. Now I'm going to show you another pattern that we also used in a pillow form. Since we talked about how to put the pillow together, I can just show you the pattern inspiration as well as where you can get it and what our one looked like. Okay. I'm just making a mess here tonight. So the next pillow I am going to show you is this one here. And this one is from the Rainbow Waves. I will show you. Oops. I'm just causing all sorts of problems here. I had the pillow on top of the keyboard, so that was just, messing everything up. All right, I am sharing this pattern for you. So this is called Rainbow Waves, and you can see it can make a whole quilt. We made one, and I just thought this was kind of fun to, since it had some pinky stuff in it, that I thought I would show it to you as well today. And this one, we had used the soft and stable instead of the batting in. And this particular one I also showcased you could use as a project bag if you had wanted to. So kind of fun with that, and then I went ahead and bound it. Super fun. So this one is a little bit more challenging. It's not quite a heart, but it had lots of pinks in it. And I thought, you know, since it was kind of a similar palette of what we were looking at, I had to show it to you, right? Had to show it to you. All right, any questions on the pillows that I shared today? What I would like to do now is I am going to show you some new fabrics, and then we're going to circle back and look at some more Valentine inspiration. How does that sound? Okay, so I have, oh, this is really exciting. We got this new fabric line by Sherry and Chelsea. So Sherry and Chelsea, that was really the inspiration behind the Sincerely Yours fabric line, was the inspiration behind the bundle of the week that I pulled. And we have Simply Delightful, which is their brand new basics line that just came out. So it's a 38-piece collection. We have the whole line. I am going to share with you the beautiful fabrics, and I'm also going to put up the link for the Fat Quarter Bundle. We have the full line on the website. I just thought that we'd try this new way of sharing the collections with you this way. So hopefully you like that. Let me find that one here in my list of things that I prepared for you. Maybe. Simply Delightful. All right, Frank, let's look overhead. Okay. Oh, I love these backgrounds. Look at those. They're just really cool. So this is a crisper, and this, look at this, the stripes. Here's a white on white, and then we have white on gray, or gray on white, that blue. Really, really nice stuff. And this is that Moda Fresh look. Okay, so here are the reds, and I'm just pulling over here. This was from the collection that I just shared with you. So Sincerely Yours really goes into this color palette. Their signature large polka dot. Pull it down a little bit. Okay, I have some more to show you. Frank, can you pull from the front the Sincerely Yours background that is the polka dot with the cream on white? I'm just sending him all over tonight. He's working. He is working. So these particular textures we've seen in a variety of their different collections, and I love how the textures just continue. I'm going to put these grays over here with the whites here. Nope. So it's the same pattern, cream, cream on cream, cream on cream. So here we go. All these beautiful, beautiful fabrics. I'll make this go away so you can see it better. Look at that. I love it. I love how they all go together. So we have that particular fabric line, and then, thank you, Frank. This is a background from their Sincerely Yours collection, and it is the cream on cream, so it doesn't particularly go with these whites, but it does work really well with these other colors as well as with the pinks that we shared earlier. So lots of Sherry and Chelsea fabrics that go really well together. Super pretty. All right. So now, talking about Sherry and Chelsea, I have this pattern here which has hearts. So it was designed for Sincerely Yours, but it could work with any of any fabric or any of their fabrics. It is not super scrappy, but I think it would be super cute scrappy. It was a $12.50 pattern, but guess what? Yes, you guessed it. Tonight, we have it on sale for $7.99. So it's a $12.50 pattern that we have on sale for $7.99. This price will last through the weekend, so it's available both online and in store. Cindy says she loves anything hearts, and you know what? I do too. So while I'm putting this away, I don't know if you all know, but so I wear a heart necklace every single day, and it's the same heart necklace. And I actually, when I put it on every day, I put on my heart necklace so that I can ward off all the evil spirits. So you should wear hearts or make hearts or sleep under hearts to surround yourself with love and ward off all the evil spirits. All right. Frank's giggling over there. He just doesn't understand. All right. So now some other things I want to share with you for brand new things. We also received the pre-cuts for Sunwashed by Cora Yoder, as well as some of the bolts. So for the, I'm going to put up here the code for our Sunwashed. So this is just the Fat Quarter collection here, and then you'd be able to find from this particular Sunwashed the rest of the collection. And I'm going to show you overhead a few of the bolts that we have in. So this particular one, we didn't get the whole line in, but we do have the Charm Packs, Jelly Rolls, and Layer Cakes, and then a good selection of bolts. So, and Diane, you are so welcome for us sharing that story. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So Frank, let's look overhead. And we have Cora Yoder's signature large-scale floral. We brought those in all 4 colors. You know, and these would go really well with the Simply Delightful things that I just shared with you as well from Sherry and Chelsea, right? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love how fresh and delightful they are. So we have the background, the white on white, and then we have the one that is the more rainbowy color. And then we have the X's. Oh, and I'm too close to the camera. But we have the yellow, green, and blue. All right, so you can see those, and it's just bright and crisp and super beautiful. So those are the bolts that we have for that line. We will still continue to get in a lot of full collections. This particular group of collections, I knew that the Cora Yoder and Sherry and Chelsea were both shipping together. And so I really, really liked the full basics line and then picked up some of those signature pieces from the Cora Yoder line. So that was behind that. But don't worry, you'll continue to see a lot of great fabrics that come in here. All right. So now I'm going to share some more heart inspiration, and then we're going to talk temperature quilts. So some fun new other fabrics that we have in. Super cute. We got more gnomes, so I know that we love our gnomes. And we have in, before we hop into our gnomes, Cindy wants to know if I have any specific patterns for Sunwashed. I do not have any specific patterns in for Sunwashed. So have some other inspiration for you, but nothing specific for Sunwashed right now. All right, so for our gnomes, we have these guys here. So this is $3.12 a quarter yard, and that translates to $12.48 a yard. These are Timeless Treasures. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Remember that if you are using this for a pillowcase, this is the directional print, and you would want to get a yard and a quarter instead of 3/4 of a yard, so that you sleep on it this way rather than sleeping on it this way. Does that make sense? Okay. And then we have some springtime gnomes, which are super cute, and you could call them St. Patrick's Day gnomes or just springtime gnomes. Super cute. Digitally printed, Timeless Treasures, $3.12 a quarter yard. Once again, if you wanted to make pillowcases out of it, go ahead and grab that yard and a quarter versus just 3/4 of a yard, or 2.5 yards to get 2 for your bed, so you have matching pillowcases on your bed, because I know you all want the gnome pillowcases. And we're still working on getting our gnome contact list happening, so let us know if you'd like to be on that list. We have scanning the room for all sorts of amazing things, showing you other heart inspiration here. So, not heart specific, but since we were talking soft and stable, just wanted to let you all know that we now not only have the soft and stable on a roll, but we have these convenient pre-cut sizes of half yard and full yard up in the front section of the store, so you can grab and go. The half yards are $10 a piece because it's $20 a yard, and the full yard roll-ups are $20. And they are rolled rather than creased, so that you don't have to worry about pressing out before you get started on your project. More great heart patterns in the February edition of American Patchwork and Quilting. On page 70, there's this super awesome heart pattern. So, you know, these magazines really do have a ton of great things in them. And while I'm looking at the front of this, I also see, Frank, let's look overhead. I didn't realize this, but this right here, this is the Simply Delightful fabric line. So I don't know what page that's on. So that collection that I just showed you from Sherry and Chelsea is right here. How cool is that? Okay, page 26. So you all are going to need that, page 26. So we have this up at our front register. And this has the Simply Delightful fabrics that I just showed you. This would also work really well with, if you had these borders, if you wanted more interesting borders, you could go ahead, Cindy, and have this for interesting borders. Don't you think? I think that could be super fun. All right. Then I've shown this to you a couple times before, but we have still a couple more of the You Make My Heart Happy. And someone had asked me last week, because I think I even said this would be cool to chenille it up, and I checked. It is not good to chenille words. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can take a technique where you stack up 4 layers of a panel and you make sure that they're all aligned perfectly, and then you sew diagonal lines about 1 inch apart, and then you cut the top 3 layers and fringe it and end up with this faux chenille look, which is super, super cool and super, super cute for many, many things, but not words because it gets too fuzzy. All right. And, oh, Robin wants to know, Frank, let's look up at me again. So Robin wants to know if I made my jacket. So I did not make my jacket. This would be a really fun use if you had wanted to make that tamarack jacket. I need to make one. But this is felted wool. I happened to get it from a boutique several years ago. But what's interesting about this is that this is not lined. And so this does have serged edges to it. And then these are all found buttons, which are super cute. And really nice, and it's nice and warm. And so I don't watch it often, or wear it often, but it's super fun. Oh, and Cindy wants to know if I have more of this panel. So let me share with you the SKU if you had wanted to buy this panel. Here we go. It's available and the link is right there. So I have several sitting right next to me. So I for sure have it. If for some reason it doesn't work online, let me know because I have them. And special priced at $4.50. Okay. Other fun things when we're talking charms and we're talking hearts. Me and my sister have a really fun pattern here for in their Three's a Charm. A variation on the heart pattern that we talked about earlier, and this is just taking all sorts of hearts, putting them together. Third time's a charm. Books here. Who doesn't need a Be Mine stuffed mailbox? Oh, I think everybody does. And it also has some Valentine's made inside. So one of the other fun things that you could do is that you could just make all sorts of really fun Valentines that you give or send to your friends and family. You could use Timtex, you could use Soft and Stable, you could simply sew on cardstock. I know it's crazy. You can just make some fun art on cardstock and use some decorative stitches. Don't stitch super close. Open up your stitch length a little bit. Can be super fun for making some one-of-a-kind cards. And just go ahead through the whole month and just send little love notes to people who you're thinking about. Doesn't have to be a romantic kind of Valentine. It can just be a heart because you're thinking of someone and you wanted to send them some love. So the Be Mine mailbox and sew panel has the mailbox, the stuffed bear, a heart pillow, 2 envelopes, and 8 stamps. Oh my goodness. So really fun. We have a couple in and we have a special price tonight. So it is normally $35.99. Special price tonight, $19.99. Ooh, super cool. So that is for this Mailbot cut and sew panel. It is super fun to play with. It might be a little challenging of a panel to make with the wee ones in your life. It was probably something to make for the wee ones in your life, or, you know, for the wee ones at heart. Angie shared that she had stitched up one of these with a really beautiful swirly quilt design. Just wanted to share that with you. We have 2 more of these panels in stock. If you had seen Angie's post, this is the February Be Mine. So the way that these panels work is that there is the 24-inch panel included in it, and then all of the other fabric can be used for a quilt back, or you could do it to make borders for it, or you could use for another project. But these particular panels, which we have them for all the months of the year, are great door banners, especially if you live in an apartment and you just want to be super festive and have a different decorative door hanging every single month of the year. So that's $26.99. And last but not least, in my heart-themed patterns, I have this really cool book that we got back in stock, and this is the Peace and Love 11 Fun, Easy to Sew Quilts. But I love, love, love this front cover quilt that has all of the half square triangles in a heart, which is super fun. All right. So that is our heart inspiration tonight. What else do we got going on? Well, we do have some additional Glimmer and Gleam kits. Remember, we are going to be starting super, super soon our Glimmer and Gleam quilt along. Sarah J., who has now started at Moda, she posted a first installment to get everyone acquainted with everything for the quilt. We haven't started yet. We're still distributing our kits. We have the patterns here. We're getting more patterns. And Sarah also has just started playing with some other colorways. So if you wanted to have something that was a little bit more monochromatic, she's playing with that. If you had wanted to switch it out and use a darker, like a dark gray or a black background, you could do that. Frank, let's look overhead at the panel here. We have, at the pattern, you can see that this background, there is a light gray. Maybe you can't see it really. There are 2 different colors. So there's a main background, and then there is this slight gray, slightly different, that is used as this inner and outer border around the checkerboard. So if you had wanted just the core component, we are able to divide out the core component, and Heidi has gone ahead and we've labeled every single one of the pieces of fabric in there so that you know what number it is, as well as what color of grunge has been included. So that is super fun. I think I have a link here, maybe, maybe not. My Glimmer and Gleam, I do. So if you were interested in the whole kit, I do have that available. I also have the patterns available on the website, and we will be starting that in February, which will be a lot of fun. In rainbow colors and rainbow themes, we had been talking about a temperature quilt. And while I am not currently stitching it quite yet, I did promise you that I would provide for you a temperature grid of the city of Milwaukee, the highs and lows. Let me share with you. Ta-da! So we have and I will post this in the comments as well so that you can see it. We have our, these are our highs here. Oh, I don't have the lows on there. So I do have a different picture with the lows. I just didn't save that here. So we have our highs and lows. Until the end of the month here, it wasn't particularly interesting, but super, super fun, super exciting. If you are playing along with the Jaybird, or were interested in following along with the Jaybird piece, that used the either the fussy cut shapes, let's see here, fussy cut shape here, or you could use the Hexamore. And so what Jackie did here, Jackie, oh my gosh, she's having too much fun with this. So she chose 4 different color combinations. And what she also did is she used each of the 4 shapes of the half hex on the Hexamore ruler to make her thing. So she chose 4 different palettes, and she did also 4 different styles of fabric. Super, super fun. So that's what her January looked like in the 4 different ways. I don't know how many of you were hoping to play along with that. So the Hexamore from Julie Herman, the code is right here. And then we also have the fussy cut shapes. And the fussy cut shapes are maybe right here. And the fussy cut shapes have 1 each of the different shapes of the half triangle, hexagon, the 4.5 half triangle, the 4.5 hexagon, the 2.5 half triangle, the 4.5 half hexagon, the 2.5 diamond, and the 2.5 60-degree triangle, all working together to make some really amazing things. Julie Herman is starting a rock candy quilt along for that, and we would be able to make you that 8th packs of the entire Tiny Beast collection if you were wanting to play along with that. So we have been trying to work with her. So I've been given kitting instructions for all of the different things that she is doing. And while we may not be sewing along with everything, we are trying to stay abreast of all of those different things so that we can hook you up with the fabric that you need to play along with her. All right. What else do I have? The last thing that I have for you is I wanted to share with you I shared with you last week that we have a member of our community that is looking for assistance in creating book bags for her endeavor with her group to provide bags for children, with underprivileged children, to receive books in their book drive. So she needs help with creating hundreds of these bags, and I had posted the picture in our Facebook group. She had posted the picture in the Facebook group. However, not all of you have access to that. The pattern here is right in the center. I'm going to put this picture at the bottom of this feed so that you can also print it out. We're also going to have copies available in store. And I just wanted to share with you the couple of the easy bags that Mary Seelan had put together and wanted to share. So Mary Seelan went ahead and added some lining to it. Lining not required, but super fun. And so you can use up some extra bits of fabric. These, if you have half yards of fabric, that works really, really well. If you have a whole bunch of fat quarters, you could use a fat quarter per side so that you could use a total of 4 fat quarters if you had wanted to line it. As I said, lining's not required. If you prefer to serge things, you can serge things, just however, so that they're nice, decorative, cute bags. Really, really fun. So if you were looking to participate in that, we would love to have you play along. And Deborah wants to know, when will I be posting the temperatures from January? I'm going to post them this evening so that you have them to be able to play along, rather than having to glean them simply from the pictorial that I gave you. Plus, I didn't give you our lows, I just gave you our highs because I didn't save the lows photo. So I'll have that this evening after I return home. If you can just give me a few minutes, and then we'll have that all up there so that you can go ahead and get started on your quilt. Because I think it's easier to work on it. They're so simple to put together that you should just, sew it a couple times a month rather than try to sew on a log a day. That's just me. Cindy, how soon does she need the bags? So we're looking to have a collection day at the end of the month. However, I'll double check. I think she needs them by April. I'll double check, but we want to make sure that we can stay on track. And so rather than first saying, oh, we have a April or May delivery, we want to make sure that we can get some collected before then. Okay, so we are going to be doing a collection day later in February, and I will get you a definitive. If that doesn't work in your schedule, I'll get you the definitive later date as well. And Kathy would like to know, is there an end date? So yes, there is an end date to the project. I don't believe it is an infinite project. So look for making your bags in February and March, and I will let you know how late we can accept those bags. All right. Any other questions that you have tonight? I know we've ran a little long, but we've shown you all sorts of really amazing things. All right, so before we go, we're just going to roll out and share with you again our bundle of the week. Going to want to make sure to scoop those up before they go away. We have a limited number of these bundles every single week. I think they're kind of fun. What do you think? I just love playing with fabric. I know you find that really hard to believe. All right, so $24.99. Oh, see, Frank must have thought I lost my mind. Well, I would like to thank you so very much for joining us tonight. It's always a lot of fun. Remember, if you buy any Fat Stack between now and Saturday, either in store or online, you will receive the 12-pack pattern hearts. Super cool, super fun. Thank you for joining us. Happy quilting, and we'll see you soon.